BPod Studios.
I'll just tell you right off the bat, I really, really appreciate you doing this. Love talking with you. Your coach, DiBattista, says marginally decent things about you.
I'm right here. Don't you say anything bad.
Stay with us and we're going to show you how to take dead aim.
Take dead aim.
The importance of taking dead aim.
Welcome to Taking Dead Aim, a show dedicated to the game of golf and the people who play it in the Carolinas and around the world. Taking Dead Aim is a presentation of Neogenics stem cell and regenerative therapies, where all you have to lose is pain, and Greater Golf Express, the golfer's paradise. And now, here's your host, a man who reminds you to never play golf with anybody who would question a 7, Charlie Nance.
Hey there, once again, we're Taking Dead Aim, presented by Neogenic Stem Cell and Regenerative Therapies, where all you have to lose is pain, and Greater Golf Express, the golfer's paradise, where you can get prior generation Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X golf balls, and prior generation TP5 and TP5X golf balls from TaylorMade for $39.99 a dozen. GreaterGolfExpress.com or Centrum Plaza, Pineville. I'm Charlie Nance on Twitter at CLT_golf guy, and this week we're all about celebrating last weekend's U.S. Amateur. Between the Charlotte 49ers' Matt Sharpstein and the UNC Tar Heels' Austin Greaser, the state of North Carolina could lay claim to 1/4 of the quarterfinalists, and Austin dang near won the thing. We'll talk with both these great college athletes, and we'll wrap things up with our PGA Master Teaching Professional Nick Jacoby from Stonebridge Golf Club, talking about some of the best public golf options, not only in Charlotte, but the surrounding areas of all economic levels. So let's not waste another second. Matt Sharpstein is someone we've chatted with earlier this summer as he competed in the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines with his dad on the bag. And last week, he was one of the last 8 guys standing on the weekend for the U.S. Amateur title. So you had a hell of a summer, right? I mean, the last time we talked, you were getting ready to go out to Torrey Pines. You had just finished co-medalist at a Stage 2 qualifier for the U.S. Open in Dallas. You and your dad getting ready to go out for the U.S. Open. Let's start there. Give me a little bit about your Torrey Pines experience. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was everything that I imagined and more. Stepping onto the grounds on Sunday, it was just kind of like surreal being there. It didn't really feel real until I got there. It was awesome. All the pros that I played with and met and talked to, they were all really nice to me. Learned a lot from them, and got a lot of information that I'll, take forward. And honestly, I think playing the U.S. Open helped me, it helped me prepare myself for getting ready for the tour. And obviously, helped me with playing golf this summer. Took a lot of confidence from that and built on that and gave me a lot of confidence going forward as well.
Now, you're a D1 golfer. You've just finished medalist at a Stage 2 qualifier in Dallas for the United States Open. You've competed in some big-time tournaments. But still, that first time you walk out to that range and you see some of the names on the placards in front of stalls where people are hitting balls, does it kind of hit you that, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, it's like, part of me is like, I don't know why I'm here. And then part of me is like, I've made it. I belong here, and I'm going to make it the best week of my life. But I will say, walking from the hotel to the range the first day I was there, I walked by Phil Mickelson, and I was just like, what is going on? Where am I? And then, I played a practice round with Jordan Spieth and Bryson DeChambeau. And then, I hit balls next to Hideki, Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy, all those guys. So it was definitely something that I'll never forget, and hopefully it won't be my last one.
What was playing with Bryson DeChambeau like? What kind of guy is he? Because you get so many mixed stories out there.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I really enjoyed playing with him. He's really nice to me, and he talked to me a lot. He's different. He's definitely different, but, I think that's why people give him a lot of hate. But once you get to meet him, he's really good to fans, and, he kind of took me under his wing for a few holes, and it was really special.
Now, he hits it a long way. You hit it a long way, but he's preposterous, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What did you get from playing with Jordan Spieth?
Honestly, I think people don't give him enough credit for his ball striking. But, after playing with him for a few holes, I was just like, man, this guy's really good. And he carries himself really well. He's got a good head on his shoulders. And, I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to do what he's doing and win a few more majors.
Charlotte 49ers golfer and world-class USGA golfer this summer, Matt Sharfstein, is our guest taking Dead Aim. One last thing about Torrey Pines. The course itself, as set up for the U.S. Open, did you think, what was your takeaway? Was it just a big boys ballpark? Was it fair? Did you think it was unfair? What kind of USGA setup did you think?
Well, I think the USGA, they'll always set it up, almost as hard as possible. It was definitely very hard, but I felt like it was fair. If you hit fairways and greens, there's not much that could go wrong. But as soon as you make one bad swing, it could go sideways or south. I felt like, it was one course where it wasn't like there's one easy golf hole. It's every time you step up on the tee, you really just got to lock in and hit a good shot. And, it was definitely tough.
Let's talk a little bit about the U.S. Amateur. You had such a great run out at Bandon last year. I happen to think, Matt, and I know that my opinion is not alone here, I think that the U.S. Amateur may be the hardest golf tournament in the world to win, because not only do you have to have the stroke play section just to get into the match play, but then you got to survive, 4 or 5 matches or 6 matches? Is it 6?
6, yeah.
6 matches of match play golf. And we all know about match play. Lord, you could go out and shoot, 68 and get absolutely waxed in match play. It's just the craziness about that game. So it's for that reason that I think the U.S. Amateur is so incredibly hard to win. Maybe the toughest golf tournament in the world to win. And you had such a great run out at Bandon. But you had to think going in, man, I had such a great run with all the luck that's involved. What was your expectation going into Oakmont this year?
Yeah, from Bandon, it obviously gave me a lot of confidence and just kind of told myself, I can win this golf tournament. And that's kind of the mindset I had going into Oakmont. I can win this golf tournament. I know I'm one of the best in the country. And I did. I played really well, but it's just a lot of golf. That's what I told a lot of people. I played, probably 9 rounds of golf in 6 days.
Yikes.
And it just wears you out. So it gets to the point where you just kind of have to get a game plan and stick with that for the whole week and kind of see where it takes you.
Well, and it's not just that it's a lot of golf. It's a lot of golf on what many people consider the hardest golf course that America has to offer. It's often said that Oakmont on any given week is just a couple of days of mowing or not mowing away from holding a USGA championship on the regular. Sort of give people an idea. How brutal is that golf course? Yeah,
I was talking over with my dad, and I thought that first round that I played, the first round of stroke play was at Oakmont for me. And I told him after I walked off the last green, that was the hardest golf course that I'd ever played, including a U.S. Open major at Torrey Pines. I thought Oakmont played a little bit harder just because it's so narrow. You can get into a lot of trouble so quick. There's parts of the greens where if you hit it on a 3-putt, you've done well. So it takes a lot of thinking and it just takes a lot of time, and it's definitely hard.
Yeah, the word that I've always heard more often than any other is the word relentless about Oakmont, because it just never lets up. A lot of courses, you can have tough tee shots, tough second shots, but if you get it 12 feet from the hole, you feel pretty good. You can be 2.5 feet from the hole at Oakmont and be absolutely scared to death at what's coming up.
Yeah, I had a couple of those in match play. I won't forget on 10, I had 3 feet for birdie above the hole, and I was like, if I miss this putt, I've got 6 feet for par. And it happened to me on my 18th hole in my second match. I had a putt to win the match, and it was like a 4-footer down the hill, and I missed it, and it ran by 5 feet, and I had to make that 5-footer to continue playing. So it's just that's the kind of stuff that you get at Oakmont.
Weekend hacks like me, I'm used to things that are running 11, 11 and a half. 12, 12 and a half is perfect to me. 13 is fast. What is Oakmont if you were to stamp it?
Well, that first round stroke play, I would say it was probably 13 or 14.
Wow.
But we got a lot of rain, and so it softened up the course and the greens a little bit, so they weren't as fast. But, as the day went on, I felt like, I can't remember what day. I think it was my 32 and round of 16 match. When I started out on my 32, it was really soft. And by the time I finished my round of 32, it was just as hard and firm and fast because it burns out so easily. So that's another thing. It's kind of a different golf course as you're playing because it firms up so quick.
God, and that's so hard on Oakmont's greens, because you know how it is. You get into a feel of how a putt's moving and how fast, and if it's changing, within a span of 30 minutes or 15 minutes from one green to the next, all of a sudden you're going, wait a minute, what planet am I on now?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Matt Sharpstein's the Charlotte 49ers golfer, U.S. Open participant and quarterfinalist in last week's U.S. Amateur at Oakmont. He's our guest taking Dead Aim. I want to get your take on something that a lot of the announcers, both on radio and on television, were commentating about, and I'd never really seen this strategy taken at Oakmont before. The USGA has run into this problem on a couple of courses and put an end to it. They'll probably do it before U.S. Open comes back. The art of hitting balls off of one tee into adjacent fairways because the angle was better coming in. Did you do any of this?
I did, yeah. One, I hit it down 9 fairway. 11, I hit it down 10 fairway. I think there was one other hole that I probably wasn't trying to do it, but I did it, and it worked out fine. But that's just what it's sometimes easier. You got a driver in your hand, and it's like there's 2 fairways, 20 yards apart. So pull it out and see if you can hit one of them, and if not, you're not in big trouble. Rather than hitting like a 3-iron or 3-wood and trying to fit it in between a 10-yard wide fairway.
Now, was this something that you came about knowledge of in practice rounds? Was this something that was being discussed in the locker room amongst different participants? How did you come to this realization?
I think it was a mixture of both. I think in the practice rounds, I was like, I kind of see it. I think I'm going to try it out, and I did it, and I was like, just depends on where the flag is. So once, you get up on the tee, you look and check the pin sheet and see where the flag is. And then if it's a good angle, I'm going to try and do it. And if not, you stick to your original game plan, just hitting a 3-iron out there. But there was other people that definitely did it. I think a lot of people did it on a few holes that we were talking about. So, yeah.
And to let you know how glamorous Matt Sharpstein's life is, as we're recording this conversation right now, a man who on Saturday morning woke up and was one of the last 8 men standing for the United States amateur title at Oakmont is at this very moment lugging couch cushions and whatever else into his new apartment. I mean, just the glamorous life of a college student. It never ends.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
So you've played Torrey Pines this summer in a USGA competition. You've played Oakmont this summer in a USGA competition. How forward are you looking to dodging a huge boulder in the middle of Rocky River Golf Club on the 3rd hole right now?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different, but, that's just part of amateur golf. You can play in really nice places, and then you go home and you go to Rocky River. It's different for sure, but no, all you really need is a golf course and a range, and you can get better. So I'm lucky to have that here at Charlotte.
I know we're probably a couple of months away, maybe just a little less from you starting the fall college season. Are you taking some time off right now, or are you hitting some balls every other day? Are you playing every day? It's been a long, hectic summer. What are you doing right now?
Yeah, it's been a long summer, and from the U.S. Amateur, I played 9 or 10 rounds of golf in 6 or 7 days. So just this week, I'm kind of taking off. I probably will go play like a evening 9 holes and hit balls at night when it's not too hot, just to kind of keep my feel and that kind of thing. But, I think this week be very low-key, getting ready for school, doing all the things that I need to do to get ready. Not a whole lot of golf, but definitely will still practice here and there and just to keep the field there.
Get you out of here on this, not to put you on the spot, but short-term, long-term goals here. You've got the fall golf season, maybe the spring golf. Are you looking towards perhaps next year trying to do it again in the U.S. Amateur? Are you looking at turning pro next year? What are your plans?
That's a good question. I'm still figuring that out. I will stay in school for another year. Kind of just depends on how I play. I've gotten my ranking up pretty good, so definitely started to get looks from companies and stuff like that. But, it just kind of depends on how I play this fall and this spring. And we'll make a decision after the national championship, and we'll decide if I'll stay amateur for the summer or just turn pro right after I graduate. It's just kind of depending on this season.
Now, I haven't really thought about this, but you bringing up companies looking at you, and I don't know how much time you've had to think about this or look at it, but with the new name, image, and likeness rules in the NCAA, is that something that as a golfer you can take advantage of a little bit from companies now?
Yeah, I really haven't been doing that a whole lot. I think, it just kind of depends on the company and that kind of thing, but, I only have 1 year left, and, being a Division I golfer at Charlotte, it's not as big as being a starting quarterback at Alabama.
Probably not.
I don't really think I'd get much out of it. It is nice that they have that so that if something does come up, you're able to take advantage of it. But as of right now, I'm just kind of seeing what opportunity is going to present itself.
There are going to be lots of opportunities going forward for that guy. U.S. Amateur quarterfinalist from the Charlotte 49ers, that's Matt Sharpstein. And when we return, Austin Greaser takes dead aim at his run all the way to the finals of the U.S. Amateur, presented by Neogenic Stem Cell and Regenerative Therapies. And that means we've reached the Greater Golf Express halfway house on the show this week. Visit the Golfer's Paradise to get prior generation tailor-made TP5 and TP5X golf balls for $39.99 a dozen. GreaterGolfExpress.com or Centrum Plaza Pineville.
You have a lot going on in your life. You're a business owner, homeowner, adventurer, soon-to-be parent, bookkeeper, builder, and dreamer. You don't want to miss out on any of it. But connecting all those dots on a daily basis can be a real challenge, especially when it comes to money. At Commerce Bank, we've got the tools and talent to help you. Commerce Bank. Challenge accepted. Visit us at commercebank.com. Member FDIC.
We are taking dead aim, presented by Neogenic Stem Cell and Regenerative Therapies and Greater Golf Express, the Golfer's Paradise. Austin Greaser is a rising junior for the Carolina Tar Heels men's golf team, and last week he was 9 holes away from being the U.S. Amateur champion. I'll just tell you right off the bat, I really, really appreciate you doing this. Love talking with you. Your coach, DiBattista, says marginally decent things about you.
I'm right here. Don't you say anything bad. No problem at all. Thanks so much for having me, and I'm happy to be here.
First off, I know this is you hear this word, and it's got to wince because I know you're a competitor. But congratulations, man. I mean, at some point, you had to wake up on Monday morning and go, you know what? I'm playing in the Masters. I'm playing in the U.S. Open, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it does sting, and there's no doubt about that. I don't think anybody would sit here and tell you that was in my spot that it feels good. But some decent consolation prizes, that's for sure. And just having that opportunity to begin with, I mean, I think you gotta look back and see how many positives and great things happened during the week to take away. It does sting to come up short, but I'll tell you what, if you'd have told me all week that I would have had a chance on the back nine to win the USAM, win or lose, I'd have taken your offer.
Absolutely. Your brother was not on the bag this past weekend, but he has been in the past. Is he already lobbying to be on your bag at the Masters?
Yeah, so he was actually on the bag one time this past week in the stroke play portion at the Longview. So he got a little bit of a taste of the USM there, caddying, but he definitely has, and we've talked about it. But I got a lot of decisions to make. He's definitely near the top of the list, if not at the top of the list, because how cool would that be to have my twin brother caddy in my first professional event that happens to be the Masters? So there's a lot of decisions to make. I haven't given it a ton of thought so far, but nonetheless, if it works out like that, that would be more than awesome for both of us.
Yeah, almost as cool as big timing your brother when he asks and you say, well, you're at the top of the list.
Exactly.
That's a pretty savage move right there. I really like it. Austin Grieser, University of North Carolina men's golfer and U.S. amateur runner-up, is our guest taking Dead Aim. This sort of ends an incredible run in the last year that you've been on. You won the Northern Kentucky Am. You won the 2020 Ohio Am. Then you had what I consider to be an unbelievably successful season, both individually and team-wise, at the University of North Carolina, and now the U.S. Am. I mean, have you stopped to take a breath yet and just sort of look back and go, wow, we played some good golf?
Yeah, I have for sure, and I think I've kind of done this all year. I've known I've been playing well. It's been a really great last 14, 15 months or so. I've really felt good about my swing. I felt good about my, work. I felt, kind of preparation. I felt good about my confidence and stuff like that. So, definitely trying to take it all in and just kind of comprehend how good of a year it's been. And I think I've done that well and using all of that confidence just going forward and whatnot like that. I don't feel like this is ending a good stretch for me, and I'm going to keep riding the swing field and the good breaks, bad breaks I'm getting right now, whatever it is. I'm going to keep riding them till they're no longer there. So I'm pumped about it. It's a long time coming. It's a lot of preparation and time coming, but I'm feeling really good about it right now. Feeling good about the game and just where everything's trending. So it has been a great last 14, 15 months for sure.
And that's such an extended period of time for a golfer. This game is so fickle and so fragile, even for the best players in the world, for you to have maintained this for this long. When was the last time that you played a round of golf, whether it be in competition or just in practice, and we all do this, you came off the course and just said, oh my God, I suck. I've lost it. When was the last time that happened?
Well, I can't say in the last 3 or 4 weeks, probably.
Probably not.
Probably not then. But, I would have to think about it a little bit. I think it is very an up-and-down game, like you hinted on. Probably somewhere to kind of start this summer a little bit. Nationals didn't exactly go how I would have liked. That's probably the last time I really remember coming off and being like, wow, that wasn't my best stuff, and it wasn't even close. So it kind of stinks to have happened on such a big stage, especially kind of when my team needed me most. But that's the game. That's the game of golf. That's sports. That's competition, and not every day are you feeling it like some other days. So I think that's probably the last time, and it's over now, and we build off of it, and we learned from it, and here we are.
You competed in the 2020 USAM at Bandon Dunes, and some of the conditions out there, I was watching on TV just laughing, going, I'm so glad I'm not out there. You weren't as successful, obviously, as you were this year. What's something that you learned from the AM at Bandon Dunes and your experience there that you were able to apply this year?
Yeah, so I don't know how to put that experience and that kind of conditions into words, except for I will give one example to the golf people out there, and this will probably make more sense than me trying to tell you how hard it was. I usually fly a 3-iron about 252 to turn 55 yards. And I came to I believe it's the 6th hole on Dunes, Bandon Dunes. It's a par 3 along the ocean. And it was 167 yards. And I will give you one guess what I had to hit. I had to hit a 3-iron, 167 yards. It was dead into probably a 30 or 40 mile an hour wind. Best way I know how to explain it. But going kind of further on your question, I played at Pinehurst also last 2 years, and neither year was really what I wanted it to be, and kind of a tough finish both times. I don't even think I really sniffed the first 64 cut. So I don't feel like I learned a whole lot, but I learned that if you're going to play well at the USAM, you've got to learn to play well at really tough golf courses and really tough conditions. I feel like it's a major, if not the major of amateur golf, and if you're going to play well, you've got to figure out how to do it on tough courses, tough conditions against the toughest and best players in the nation. So I think that's kind of what I took forward with me from the last couple of years.
Austin Greaser plays golf for the University of North Carolina men's golf team. He's the U.S. amateur runner-up. Our guest taking dead aim. Earlier, I was talking with Matt Sharpstein, who plays here at Charlotte and was a quarterfinalist at the U.S. amateur at Oakmont. And, you mentioned 2 years ago you played number 2 at that am. You played Bandon Dunes, which, like I said, was almost a video game comical last year. It was so hard. And Oakmont may be, pound for pound, day in, day out, the hardest golf course that the USGA in America can present at any given moment. Sort of try to put into words, people who may have played Pinehurst, people who may have played Bandon Dunes, just how tough Oakmont is.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think what makes Oakmont super tough mostly is the off the tee aspect of it. You have to drive the ball unbelievably straight and unbelievably accurate to be solid out there and to shoot a good round. I think a lot of the fairway bunkers don't let you hit anything but a wedge out, and that's if you're in the middle of the bunker. So I found myself multiple times just literally chipping out as far as I could get it down the fairway, when you should be going for the green. There was nothing you could do except just try and advance the ball as far as you could. So I think that's what makes it really hard. There's a lot of slope with the course that makes it a little bit harder to dial in your yardages perfectly. And then the greens too. Don't forget those. I mean, you've got multiple greens where instead of from back to front, it slopes from front to back, which makes the approach shots very hard. You've got to land them shorter than what you would think. And the ball just rolls forever on icy greens. I mean, I think I talked to someone during the week that was part of the course management and stuff. And for those of you that kind of understand what this means, they're rolling about a 14 or 14 and a half on the stem. So if you don't know what that means, just go to your kitchen and putt on your tile, and that's about how it is. So that's kind of the best way I know to describe it. It's hard to describe it, without playing it, but just super tough, requires every shot in your bag. And you just got to be good from tee to green and on the green. You can't lack anywhere, or it's going to reach up and bite you.
Yeah, I've always said I'm comfortable at 11.5. I really like to play in competition at 12.5. The moment that stimp hits 13, I'm doing like rosaries and things, and I'm not even Catholic. I mean, that's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So I want to talk with you about a couple of matches, and we'll get to the end match. Got a hard question to ask there. We'll save that because I'm buttering you up. I love the semifinal match with Travis Vick. Number one, because he's a University of Texas guy and I'm a Baylor guy. So in addition to, being predisposed to rooting to North Carolina, anything that takes out the University of Texas makes me just happy as a clam. But that was like a heavyweight fight. There wasn't a whole lot of having holes going on. There were holes being won, and it was a really, really fun match to watch. Was it fun to play, or was that nerve-wracking the way you guys were exchanging punches like that?
Yeah, it was. It did feel kind of like a right punch, left punch kind of thing from both of us all day. Fantastic guy. I've played with him a couple times now, fortunately, and got to know him a little bit. He's a great guy, and I wish him all the best.
I don't. He goes to Texas. I don't wish him well at all. Go on.
Well, I do if you don't, anyway. But, it did go my way that day, and I think it felt like, honestly, there was a couple different times this may have not been true, but you kind of had to make birdie to win the hole. And at Oakmont, that's not easy. And fortunate enough on the back nine there, I rattled off a few and won a few holes, and that was that. And I think actually walking down the third fairway, me and him both were just I don't even know, flabbergasted, for lack of a better term, of how big the crowd and how many spectators were out watching. I think there had to be at least 300 to 500. I talked to him. I said, have you ever been anything like this? And he said, no. What about you? And I said, absolutely not. So I think, along with the semifinal match, put a lot of crowd, put a lot of spectators, and put two major exemptions on the line, and you're going to be a little nervous. It was nerves that I feel like I've never felt before in a very pressure-packed day. I think I felt nervous on every single shot from beginning to end, and I've never felt like that. I usually settle in a little bit more, but it just kind of how much that semifinal match means to everybody and how much it meant to me, and fortunately fell on the right side of the line this time. But I think there's a lot to build on that match going forward, in the future and what it adds for me.
I'm glad you guys had that moment. One of my favorite stories from the 77 Duel in the Sun at Turnberry, where Watson and Nicklaus shot 65, 65, 65, 66 on the weekend, and they were just far and away ahead of everyone. Is that moment? I think it was on the 16th or 17th hole where Watson turned to Jack and said, this is what it's all about, isn't it? And he said, yes, it is. And they had that moment, and you and Vic kind of had that moment in that semifinal match of, wow, this is really something, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. That's just about exactly how it went, and it was really fun to go up against them and to compete against them in front of some family, friends, and people we didn't even know. So that was really cool and something I'll remember forever.
In a way, because of what's at stake, in a way, is the semifinal match more nerve-wracking than the final in that win or lose. If you win, you get the trophy, you get the title U.S. Amateur Champ. I get that. But win or lose, you've got that exemption into the Masters. You've got that exemption into next year's Amateur. You've got that exemption into the U.S. Open. So you've already really won some big things.
Yes, for sure. For me, anyway, I feel like yes, hands down. Answer to that question is yes. The reason I say that is like you've kind of already said. I think a lot of doors just opened up for myself and my game that were never open before, and may still not be opened if you lose the semifinal match. So I 100% think that I was way more nervous on the semifinal day than I was on the final day. Felt way more pressure on the semifinal day, and not to say that I didn't want to win whatsoever. And anybody who knows me knows I want to win more than anybody. But just the things that came with it, and things that I've been dreaming of since I started this game, since I was 5, 6, 7 years old. The fact that you get to walk down Augusta fairways. I'm going to get to go to the country club in Brookline and play. Where storied greats have played, and just unbelievably. Older guys and younger guys, just everybo's played, and knows about those two clubs. So I definitely think it was more nerve-wracking on the semifinal day than the final day, and it just meant a whole lot more in terms of what was to come after that.
Get to the final match now. You and James Pyatt. I caught up with the match at the end of the first 18, and you were one down at the break between the two rounds. And then I had to go do something. I got back in my car, flipped on the radio, and you were 3 up. And I'm like, oh, my God, Greaser's gotten hot. He's going to slam the door on this guy. And what I heard was how hot your putter was on that front nine, and that you were really making some great saves. Some of those 4 and 5 footers that at Oakmont, you're praying half the time, and you were making them. And then I happened to be listening shot for shot at the pivotal 11th hole. James had just won, I think, to go to 2 down. And you have a putt for a birdie to go 3 up. Yep. And he's in with par, and you slide it by about 4 or 5 feet. They comment that these are the kind of putts that you've made all day. You miss it. And this is the hard part about match play, that those that don't play just don't understand what a sledgehammer this can be. You are within a minute. You go from thinking I can be 3 up to, oh, my God, I'm only 1 up. And it just happened so fast in match play. How hard was it? How big a blow was that to you as you look back now? And how hard was that to recover from?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was maybe a pivotal moment. But at the same time, I think, I rolled both of those putts well. I hit them both on the line I was looking, and they just didn't go in. So as much as it may look like I was a little devastated, I'm going to be honest, I really wasn't. Just the fact of the matter is I didn't execute there on the putts, and I guess I executed the best of my ability. The putt just didn't fall. So there wasn't too much to be upset about that. Yes, I lost the hole. Yes, I went from potentially being 3 up to 1 up. But at the end of the day, I did what I could control. I hit the putt a little bit harder on the first putt than maybe I should have, but that's Oakmont, and that's how hard the greens are and stuff like that. And I don't think I'm going to sit here and say that that made or break the rest of the round. I think it was definitely not a great spot to be, and not a great thing that happened. But at the same time, it's still golf, man. It's still golf, and not every 4 and 5 footer is going to go in. Not every time are you going to make that 12, 14 footer for birdie. So it did sting, but I still had to move forward. It's not like I can sit there and take it back. So just walk to the 12th tee as I did all week, and just went on trying to execute my game plan from there.
Well, I was devastated for you. Let's move ahead to 17, and sort of the opposite happens. Pyatt's all over the yard once he gets to the green, and he's got a 20. It looked to be 22 feet for par, and you've got inside 10 feet for birdie. Even though we are taught from the moment we play match play that psychologically you have to expect your opponent to make that putt. This is Oakmont, Jack, and this is a 20-footer. There is no way you weren't already thinking, okay, man, all I got to do is cozy this one up there and then win the 18th, and we're good to go. And he made that bomb on 17. You had to take your hat off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think maybe that did run through my mind a little bit, but at the same time, I could tell he's a really good putter. He rolled it well all day. He just really didn't get anything to go in. He had a lot of really close ones, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was uphill for him, and I watched him. Like I said, I watched him roll the putter all day, and if somebody was going to make it, it was going to be him. You know, so he hadn't made anything all day, but to do it under that kind of pressure, under that kind of nervousness, definitely hats off, like you said, and you know, that's just kind of how it unfolds. I mean, that's golf and that's match play.
Get you out of here on this. Austin Greaser is a men's golf player at the University of North Carolina. And, oh, yeah, he's the U.S. amateur runner-up, our guest taking dead aim. So I talked with Sharpstein the other day, and it was sort of a welcome back to earth moment that made me laugh very hard. On Saturday, he got up and he was one of the 8 guys, like you were, one of the 8 guys still standing to win the U.S. Amateur. And on Monday afternoon, he was lugging furniture upstairs to move into his department because classes started this week. When was or have you had it yet, your welcome back to earth moment?
This morning, actually. I think I'm in the same shoes as him. School started yesterday, or I guess yesterday morning. School started yesterday morning, and got up here, heard that alarm for school, and I was like, wow, summer's over. You know, it's 7 o'clock, and we got to go to class. So I think that was probably my back to reality a little bit, but I'm not sure if I was extremely ready for that. I feel like I'm still trying to recover a little bit from last week, but you know, we got to do this stuff. It's still life, and you know, got to get back to it here at school. So I think that was kind of the 7 a.m. alarm for school hit me pretty hard. I'm not going to lie.
Well, and when you're walking to class for the first time in a week, NBC wasn't having cameras following your every move, so that's cool, right? How impressive is that guy from the Carolina Tar Heels? That's U.S. amateur runner-up Austin Greaser. And up next, we take dead aim at the best public golf you can play within, say, a 3-hour radius with PGA Master Teaching Professional Nick Jacoby from Stonebridge Golf Club, presented by Neogenic Stem Cell and Regenerative Therapies. First, though, let's make one last pass at the Greater Golf Express Halfway House, where prior generation Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X golf balls are just $39.99 a dozen. GreaterGolfExpress.com or Centrum Plaza Pineville.
COVID-19 exposed the weak points of your business. Do you have a plan to bridge the gaps? Plant Moran Consultants can help you build a strategy for long-term success. Together, we can modernize your technology, accelerate your performance, and build resilience through 2021 and beyond. More than tax and audit advisors, our experts create solutions for IT and cybersecurity, financial and operational excellence, risk management, and more. Prepare now to succeed later. Visit us at plantmoran.com to learn more.
We're taking dead aim, presented by Neogenic Stem Cell and Regenerative Therapies and Greater Golf Express, the golfer's paradise. Nick Jacoby is a PGA Master Teaching Professional, General Manager of Stonebridge Golf Club, and in the process of filming the video component to the podcast this week, we got to talking about the Ocean Course at Kiowa. And it just got me to thinking about all the courses that, say, are within a few hours' drive of here, public facilities that we both love. And, you know, there's courses that you love, but let's face it, they're not worth the buck. And there's courses that you get more bang for your buck. So I thought what we'd do today, Nick, is sort of talk about some of our favorite courses, go back and forth. I'm going to start with my favorite course in North Carolina. I do not make a trip to the Sandhills that I do not stop at Tobacco Road. It is, to me, an artistic masterpiece. Mike Strantz passed away way too early. In fact, he got cancer while he was building Tobacco Road. And it's an unbelievable golf course on a very finite piece of property. And, you know, from the tips, I think it only measures 6,800 yards, but its course rating and slope are right up there with the Ocean Course at Kiowa Island. And I always look at a course, does it have memorable holes? And I run out of memorable holes at Tobacco Road. Every time I play it, I find something else that I love about it. That being said, this is not a course that you want. If you've been playing golf for 3 months, do not go to Tobacco Road. Okay, this is a course that if you've been playing golf for a while and you semi know where your golf ball is going when you hit it, go play Tobacco Road, but that's my fave.
So just to, piggyback on what you said, I've had the opportunity to play Tobacco Road roughly probably about 100 times. So in college, I went to Methodist University, and we could go there and play that for free, but we had to walk. So imagine walking that golf course. I've walked it almost 100 times. But if you are afraid of the sand, which we're going to talk next week about that, do not play Tobacco Road. But as far as scenic, it's arguably as good as any in North Carolina. The first hole looks like a tornado designed it. So it is well worth the dollar value. The putting green's a little goofy. There's really not a flat putt on the putting green. Chris Brown is a friend of mine, great guy. They've got a cool little clubhouse. So yes, as far as Sand Hills, very good. Another one right down the street from there. A few of you probably heard of the Carolina, which is an Arnold Palmer design close to the airport there in Pinehurst. Well worth it. Had the opportunity to walk that thing too. So again, in college, we could play them for free walking, but a lot of undulation in green. So if you like undulation, like some long putts with a lot of elephants buried, the Carolina is a good one.
About that golf course in particular and Arnold Palmer designs in general, Arnold's design team, what they were really good at is giving you great wide open play. You could land 4 747s on their fairway. It's very, very friendly, I always thought, to the average man golfer in terms of visual off the tee and in terms of just, landing area in general off the tee.
I agree, but again, he goes a little crazy with the greens. But yes,
well, life's a trade-off, Nick.
That is true. But add another golf course. There's a bunch of good ones in that area. Of course, you can start with number 2 and number 4. But another good one in that area is probably Mid-South. Doesn't get a whole lot of recognition. I play in the Pro there every year. Mid-South's a great one where I do believe that might be an Arnold Palmer also. I do believe because it's got some undulations. But lots of golf courses in the Pinehurst area. Cannot go wrong with Pinehurst. But again, the Pinehurst area, as far as you will pay a little bit more.
Yeah, and you need to just watch the time of year. You can get some good deals. I know at Tobacco Road, once you get to the late fall and into the winter months, you can get out there for less than $100 on the weekend, and it's well worth it. Staying in Pinehurst area just for a second, another couple I wanted to mention were Mid Pines and Pine Needles, 2 great Donald Ross designed golf courses. To me, number 2 has all the prestige and all of the accolades, and it's the championship golf course. But when I really think if you want to see a true Donald Ross design, go play Mid Pines. I just think it's a wonderful, wonderful golf course. And also, it's only $50 and you can play it all day if you want. The Cradle there at Pinehurst is one of the most fun short courses, the most fun you'll ever have at 780 yards. And like I said, the average person, you can go pay $50 and play it as many times as you want.
Absolutely. I played Mid Pines last week in an Oakley Pro-Am, but Mid Pines and Pine Needles, best bang for the buck might be the best deal down there. They're across the street from each other. And those of you who don't know, Peggy Kirk Bell built those facilities. She's one of the co-founders of the LPGA Tour. So a lot of history there. I do believe Pine Needles might have the Women's Open next summer. I do believe coming up. So yes, Donald Ross 101, man. It is Mid Pine. I think it's only 6,700 from the tips, but it's very challenging. Back-to-back par 5s. You miss some greens, you're going to have some fun there. And Pine Needles is as good as it gets in Pinehurst.
All right, let's head down south. Everybody goes down to Myrtle Beach to play golf. There are 600,000 courses down at Myrtle Beach. I'm going to give a couple that I think are the best as far as bang for your buck, and also in terms of maintenance, the ones that are maintained constantly at a really, really good pace. Grand Dunes, to me, is one of the better day in, day out, challenging, well-kept public courses down there. I find myself playing that one probably more than any other.
I agree. I've played there in our section championship a couple times. Great golf course. Best bang for the buck, in my opinion, is the Legends golf course. Stay and play. I mean, I was just down there with a group of guys, and does not cost you a whole lot of money. They include breakfast and lunch and a couple drink tickets. But bang for the buck, Legends, Heathland, Parkland, and Moreland are really good in my opinion.
Another one that's just across the street from Legends really is the Myrtle Beach National courses. I think you have it's weird. It's like the South course and the East course, and the pinnacle course there is Kings North, and that's another one of my favorite. The Kings North golf course, in terms of Arnold Palmer courses that I've played, that is my favorite anywhere in the world. Love that golf course. I think it's the 5th or 6th hole is the Gambler. Great risk reward par 5.
Oh, fantastic. And if you venture down south, of course, you got True Blue and Caledonia. Oh. Those are, two of the best, again, on the south side. So it kind of depends on, again, what time of year you go. Summer's a little cheaper, but their high seasons, the fall and spring. So you got to time it right depending on what type of budget you have.
All right. We were talking about the Ocean Course and Kiowa when we were out there filming the video. There is lots of golf down in the Charleston area and the Kiowa area, especially. They have really, in preparation for the PGA that was just held, they spent an awful lot of money upgrading their other courses, Cougar Point, Turtle Point, Osprey Point. I mean, those courses now, it used to be when you drove in and you saw Turtle or Cougar, you're like, okay. But they look like Augusta National when you drive in.
You're exactly right. They have spent a lot of money. So, again, it's going to cost you a little bit more. Kiowa's a higher end compared to it's actually probably a step above. It kind of goes Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, then Kiowa as far as price point. But, again, if you've got the budget to do it, Kiowa is as good as any. Ocean Course is fantastic.
All right, now let's stay close to home. Let's stay public golf courses here in the Charlotte area. We'll save where you are for last because we're both biased because we're sitting in it right now. But let's talk about some of the public courses around here that you go, yeah, that's a good track to play. They do a good job there, and the price point works.
In my opinion, the best bang for the buck in the Charlotte area is probably Eagle Chase. It's a little far out. It's fun. I don't know if I'd want to play it every day. It's kind of a mountain course that's not in the mountains, but I do believe it's roughly $50 on weekends. Pace of play is fast. They've got a new grass on the greens called Diamond Zoysia, which is kind of new to the area, so you really can't hurt it. But best bang for the buck, Eagle Chase, very scenic and a lot of fun.
I always tell people about Eagle Chase. It's one of those courses. It's a public facility, but I always tell everybody, if someone just had, I don't know, about $15 million to throw around, they could gate it off, upgrade it just a little, and create a private facility out in the middle of nowhere that would be really, really, really one that the Golf Digest and golf magazines of the world would look at.
I agree. I mean, it is extremely scenic. That second hole is just kind of a picturesque hole where it's kind of like a video game. You're standing on top of a mountain. You're like, where is the fairway? It looks so small. But yes, it is. Again, it's, from the South Charlotte area, it's probably a 45-minute drive. But if you can get out there, well worth the drive.
Another one that I like, south of town and Lancaster and Utah, or Lancaster, excuse me. I've only been here forever, is Edgewater. And it's one of those places that the first time I played, I thought I was in the hill country of Texas. It reminded me so much of Austin, a lot of limestone, a lot of things cut out, but it's a great golf course with lots of memorable holes and elevation changes. One of those things that people never hear about, never play, but once they get out there, they're like, how did I not know about this?
Again, just like you said, it's a great golf course, but again, it's out there a long way. So it's kind of the complete opposite. I guess it's probably an hour and a half from Eagle Chase to Edgewater. As I tell my buddies, you need a helicopter to get to either of them. But if you do get out there, it is well worth the drive. Again, staying on the south side, I think Springfield Golf Course is a little bit more on the high end, but it's our number one competitor here. But great golf course, great value. Conditions are as good as any.
Okay, let's talk about where we are right now. Stonebridge Golf Club in Monroe. You got out here, God, was it January or November?
November of last year, I came on board. This is owned and operated by Wingate University. They also own Fox Den up on the north side. So, I'm sorry, Fox Den changed the name to Larkin. My fault. So it's called Larkin was Fox Den. So Wingate University owns and operates us. So this is arguably the busiest golf course in Charlotte. We just did roughly about 50,000 rounds our fiscal year that ended end of May. But my superintendent, Jake Stewart, and his staff do a tremendous job with very, very little help. So if you ever get the chance to play Stonebridge, our greens, we are in the process of getting ready to change our greens next summer, which can be a huge renovation. We have bent grass, so they struggle in the heat. Obviously have a lot of ball marks as busy as we are, but next summer we are going to a new grass, Bermuda grass, that is going to help a lot. Now, talking practice facility, we might have the best public practice facility around. Myself, 2 other instructors here, so 3 PGA pros. We've got a driving range that is a giant tee of 90 yards wide. We've got 22 targets and 2 cars. So if you want to practice and play, come see us at Stonebridge.
Well, and one thing that I like about your practice facility is the quality of golf ball. A lot of times you go to a public practice facility and you're not getting anything out of it because the balls are just beat. They're beat to the point that they look like featheries from the 1920s. I mean, it's just awful. But, you've got a situation here where you're changing out the golf balls almost quarterly.
Yes, and that was a big emphasis. So when I got here, obviously we had a bunch of golf balls, but they were very old and beat up. And just like you just said, and there's nothing like going to warm up and it looks like a quail got shot out of the sky when you're hitting a golf ball. So we actually had a local law firm. We gave you opportunity, some local business. I said, would you like to put your name on golf balls that are hit a lot? I mean, we've got roughly 1 million golf balls hit per year in our range. So a local law firm in Monroe joined up with us, partners with it, and actually purchased our first range balls, our first batch of range balls. But going forward, we're going to, every 3 to 4 months, we have new range balls coming in. So I want to make sure that we, match our product with what you guys are paying. And again, I'm a golfer myself, so I want to go practice and want to provide the best range balls possible.
Also, one upgrade that I will tell you, having lived out in the Stonebridge area for the last 7 years, and I hadn't played the course in several months, I was blown away by the quality. In fact, I even wrote you, I was blown away by the quality of the fairways and rough in terms of summer and condition. It was as nice, and I'm not being facetious here, and I play a lot of private golf. It was as nice as any private golf course that I've seen in the area this summer.
100%. Jake, again, I can't give Jake Stewart enough credit. He's a superintendent, been here for 18 years, does a magnificent job. This time of year, we've had enough rain, which helps a lot. We're getting a little bit of rain once per week, but again, we struggle with, irrigation. So we've got a couple ponds out here, but if we go a long stretch without rain, we struggle. But this summer has been almost perfect amount of rain. Jake and his staff have been busting their butt out here, and it is in fantastic shape. I have not played a course in Myrtle Beach or Charlotte that has better fairways.
All right. So in conclusion, best bang for your buck, public facility in the Charlotte area. We're going to be biased. Say Stonebridge Golf Club. Now, best public facility anywhere within a 3.5 hour drive. You've got money's no object, public facility. Where are you playing around?
I would probably go Tobacco Road to be on that short list for sure. Maybe probably, in Pinehurst, there's a couple. I might throw in Mid Pines or Pine Needles and then probably venture down to Hilton Head. I mean, there's numerous golf courses in Hilton Head if you want to travel that far. But I would start in the Pinehurst area and work my way towards Hilton Head.
From Stonebridge Golf Club, that's PGA Master Teaching Professional Nick Jacoby. A reminder, the video component to his weekly visit, 2 Minutes with Nick Jacoby, is online now at foxsportsradiocharlotte.com, or just click the link on our Facebook page. I'd also like to thank U.S. Amateur quarterfinalist Matt Sharpstein of the Charlotte 49ers and U.S. Amateur runner-up Austin Greaser from the UNC Tar Heels for their time and insight this week. A reminder, speaking of our Facebook page, follow us on Facebook. Just search Taking Dead Aim, give us a like. Posted there now are links to articles on the latest goings-on in and around the world of golf. Hey, weather-wise, guess what? It's summer in the Carolinas. Heat and humidity, maybe some rain you're dodging, but great weather for letting this game of golf continue to haunt your soul and break your heart. And hey, if you do put a peg in the ground this weekend, remember to exhale, swing, pose, and keep in the short grass. I'm Charlie Nance on Twitter, at CLT_golf guy, and I'll see you right here next week, Taking Dead Aim, presented by Neogenic Stem Cell and Regenerative Therapies, where all you have to lose is pain, and Greater Golf Express, the golfer's paradise, where you can get prior generation Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X golf balls, and prior generation TaylorMade TP5 and TP5X golf balls for $39.99 a dozen.
Want to get your hands on an item you saw in a TikTok video? Must-Haves and FunFinds.com is on it. Our team is on the search for interesting and trending products you'll want to see. Must-Haves and FunFinds.com.